Alright YouTubers, what's happening? We got another knife video for you today, looking at the CRKT Slacker. I like that name, Slacker. So CRKT is not one that you see a lot on the channel. Well, not that they, it's just not typically my type of knife, but this is part of a pass-around group with the Apex pass-around group that I'm a part of, and got this in. Wanted to give it a full shake, so I did quite a bit of cutting with it, testing out and such, and so that way I could give a good review. So let's go ahead and start with the specs on this guy. You've got a 7.62 overall length, 3.32 in the blade, 3.125 in the cutting edge. Nice sharpening choil there. 0.11 thick on the blade stock. You have German 1.4116, or also known as 4116 Krupp steel. So we'll talk about that. 55 to 57 Rockwell hardness on that, and you've got a flat ground blade with a satin finish. 4.3 inch handle, really good size handle. 0.47 in the thickness, and you have it's gray aluminum. Weighs 2.57 ounces, so it's nice and light, and it's actually made in Taiwan. So some websites have it listed and made in China, but it's actually made in Taiwan. So most CRKTs are made in China, so maybe that's why they have that. So you're looking at $80 for one of these guys. So it's not exactly a budget knife, but not still under $100. And it is the German 44116 steel is more like, it's probably like a step up from AUS 8, HCR13. Well, definitely on a step up from those two, but just like kind of right under 14C20, and as far as your edge retention is concerned. So there's a stainless steel as well, so keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk about this knife, and let's talk about the fit and finish. Now this is a Ken Onion design, and it's one that he wanted to make kind of for himself, and then he kind of, did it with CRKT. It does have the field strip technology, which is pretty simple. If you've never seen it before, I'll do it real quick. Let me just shut the blade first. You just move that switch over here, and back here you have a little knob, and you basically just, what did I do wrong here? Maybe you do that part first, because it's not moving. I can't remember, it's been a while. I just did this the other day, like almost one-handed, and it's not. There we go. So yeah, you just kind of have to break that. So you just basically keep unscrewing it here, do that switch there, and that's going to remove this screw here on this side of the handle, so you can take off the scale. There you go. A little bit of skeletonization on the aluminum. Nice to see that. It's got Teflon washers, which all of the field strip knives have. Also see it. And then you can see the mechanism here down at the bottom, how it comes apart, and then you have your liner lock. So pretty simple, easy construction to reassemble. You just basically reverse the process by just pushing this back on and then cranking this down the other direction. Give it quite a few turns. You'll notice it starts to get easier, and then make sure that's together. Flip that switch over. You're good to go. So being that it's on, so fit and finish, it's a little bit nicer than a lot of CRKTs as far as fit and finish. I think that may be a product that is made in Taiwan. I'm not sure what factory or anything, but you do have some nice aluminum scales here that have that little bit of lightning. You have this nice diamond knurled pattern that gives you some good grip. So overall, that's decent. Liner lock is kind of a later lockup for being a liner lock. Teflon washers is nothing to write home about. I don't know why. I mean, I get why they don't do bearings on this because of the whole field strip thing, but why not phosphorus bronze washers? You could easily do that. So that's one thing. But it does flip well for being that. So I would say fit and finish is a little bit nicer than some CRKTs, but not up to snuff of like a Real Steel or a Kaiser budget or a Wii budget or anything like that. Nothing, not as good as those for sure. Ergonomics are actually really good. I like this handle quite a bit. I did a lot of cardboard cutting, probably did I don't know, 50 plus cuts on cardboard, and it was very comfortable. It has no hot spots, which is great. So it does have good ergonomics, and it has good grip with this knurling, so you don't feel like it's slipping. One thing I don't love about aluminum scaled knives is that they slip and such pretty easily. This one does not have that problem, so that's nice. Jimping is kind of weird though. Like the jimping is way up here, and it should be like right here where your thumb lands, in my opinion. Unless they were going for like this kind of jimping, which I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's way up there, so you have to choke way up on the knife to get to the jimping. So that's kind of a fail, in my opinion. But there is no like hot spots or anything, and I'm sure there's some sort of design element to this. And like I said, this is the only one I can think of. But aesthetics are, it's actually a pretty cool looking knife. It almost looks like it's titanium because of the gray aluminum, and I like the blade shape quite a bit. So it does have nice aesthetics. It looks pretty nice for being a, CRKT. It's a $79.99 knife, $80. So we'll talk about value here in a minute, but aesthetically it's pretty nice. The action is pretty good considering it's on Teflon washers. Now it's not going to drop shut. They dialed the detent in, and the detent is nice, and it does have some nice jimping there on the flipper tab, and it does flip really well. But this kind of action you're not going to get. It's not on bearings or anything. One thing I forgot to mention on fit and finish, the centering is definitely way over to the right here. I think that has a lot to do with the field strip design. I don't know that you'll ever get great centering. I remember the same problem I had on the home front, which is like the first model. Now you may be able to maybe adjust this pivot a little bit. Oh, pulled out all kinds of extra stuff I didn't mean to there. We do not have the right size bit on there. I don't want to spend too much time looking for it, but you may be able to adjust that pivot. There we go. There's a T8. And maybe get that centering better. Let's give it a whirl. Yeah, so you can. You just adjust this pivot, and I got the centering, but the action is a little stiffer now, but we got the centering where we need it to be. So you can adjust that, so that's not bad. And I don't know if it'll move when we do the field strip or not. Maybe it could over time. I think that's kind of something you're kind of taking into consideration with these kind of knives. So the action's okay. Pretty good for being on Teflon for sure. Flips nicely. Alright, so sliceability. This is where things go south in a hurry. It does not cut well. See, and I got that. Now that I got it centered, the action's not nearly as good. So it does not cut very well. I was kind of surprised. You look at that, it's got a flat ground blade. It's got a nice blade shape. You'd think it came pretty. It's definitely sharp, and you think, man, that thing would probably be a nice little slicer. Well, that's where things get, like I said, not very good, because it is very thick behind the edge. Like, I don't understand why it's so thick behind the edge. It's kind of crazy to me. When I measured it yesterday, it was 0.0355 behind the edge. That is super thick for a knife of this size, of an EDC knife that you're just going to be using for light duty. It's not like it's going to be batoned through, logs, and why you would need a thicker edge. And it's so weird to me. The same thing with that Gerber fastball I just reviewed. It had such a thick edge, and I was like, why? These knives should have thin edges. I mean, I think the bug out is pretty dang thin, if I remember correctly. It's thinner. It's not. It's under point. It's 0.029, so it's quite a bit thinner. Still not as thin as I like them to be. I remember this Kaiser. Oh, and I forgot to do size comparisons, so let's do some of those real quick. Let's do the bug out since it's right here, and then the Kaiser bag letter titanium. This one's super thin behind the edge, which you gotta love because that makes for just a nice cutter. It cuts better. EDC knives don't need to have thick edges. They need to have thin, slicey edges. But whatever. So that's where it kind of fails in a lot of ways, is that it's just so thick behind the edge. And it doesn't have thick blade stock either so it's just the way it's ground, and it's just not very good. How does it carry? It carries nicely. It does have a great deep carry clip. It looks awful familiar to another one that I've seen before. I don't know where. I can't really put my finger on it, which knife it is. But, oh wait, it's the bug out looking right there. It looks very, very similar. It does have one attachment point, but it does have a nice little deep carry pocket clip, which I do like. And it goes in the pocket well, and you do get a nice deep carry. So I like that. It's lightweight, it's thin this way. So it's actually a really nice carry, really nice. I like the carry aspect of it. It carries nicely. Value, $80. I think it's not best value either. I mean, you're not getting like fantastics. You're not getting like even 14C28N. And I can think of a bunch of knives in that $50, $60, $70 range, $80 range that have 14C or better steel. D2, you can get S30 for 80 or 90 bucks. You know what I mean? A little bit more money. So I don't think it's a great value as far as materials used. You're not getting you know, it's aluminum and a cheap steel. It shouldn't cost that much. I think it's probably more. I don't know if it has nothing to do with the rights to Canadian or what, or if it has to do with the manufacturing outside of their normal place in China. Who knows? But $80 is too much, I think. So not a great value. X Factor could be if you're into the whole takedown thingamajigger it has. I don't think it's that great of a. I mean, it's a cool idea, but on a small EDC knife like this, I don't see why you would need that. Maybe like in an outdoor knife that you're going to be using and getting really nasty and stuff, you want to be able to clean it in the field. I could see that, but for a typical EDC knife with light duty that this is kind of more designed around, I just don't think it's there. And you know, I'd love to see it on phosphorus bronze washers at least, or maybe with better steel, D2, 14C28N in that range, have it be around the $50, $60 price range. Then you got something. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap up my review on the CRKT, what is this called again? Slacker. Model number is K350KXP, in case you're wondering. You can get these on Blade HQ for about $79.99. Amazon should probably have them. I'll put it you can try White Mountain Ice. I believe you carry some CRKT, and you might be able to get 10% off, which makes it a little bit better deal. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.